Welcome to the Knapp Daddy Racing League, where the competition is high and the theatrics are higher.
They bring it down the stretch one last time.
It's sputtering. He's shaking it.
It's sputtering. Brandon Lopez wins it at Charlotte in one of the greatest fuel strategies you will see.
It's close battles, tight racing, and non-stop action. Y'all ready?
Come to the home stretch for the final time. I think Ty Roberts is running out of gas. Ronald Breland's running out of gas. Ronald Breland going to be your winner of the very first race.
Get loud. Get ready.
It is going to be Hunter Simpson taking the race here at Austin. Right there on that checkered line. It is going to burn it down with a well-earned and deserved victory.
Let's go. It's the Knapp Daddy Racing League, only on the Knapp Daddy Racing channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Knapp Daddy Racing League. Welcome back to the Knapp Daddy Racing YouTube channel. And welcome back to the Knapp Daddy Racing League for the start of playoff season. It is wild card week here live from Chicagoland Speedway. And we are about to get over to the racing action for tonight. As always, my name is Hunter Foley. I'm up here with my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, and we are excited to be getting into playoff season here. Looking forward to an excellent night of racing from these drivers as they have done all season long. It has been a wonderful season so far. We are excited to see where this thing goes as we head into our playoffs here. Got 165 laps of action coming to you live from Chicagoland here in just a couple more minutes. About 5 minutes left of practice for these drivers. Then we'll get over into qualifying and the racing. But as always, want to make sure that we shout out our sponsor, which once again for this race will be us. If you or someone you know would like to sponsor one of these upcoming playoff races or get involved with us for next season, which is already in the works and we are very excited about, be sure to reach out to John or myself or any of the other drivers in the league and let them know you'd like to sponsor a race. I would love to cook you up an ad read for the ages, but until then we will just continue to shout ourselves out in this situation. But for those that don't know, or those this may be your first time here, Knapp Daddy Racing, myself and John make up Knapp Daddy Racing. Originally started as an iRacing design shop just a little over a year ago. We've expanded to try to be your one-stop for any and all things iRacing. You can check out our website, that is knappdaddyracing.com, for any sort of custom design template logo needs for your iRacing car. And you can also check out some of the free content that's available on the website as well. Got some templates, different number schemes and things like that available. And even if you're not into iRacing, you can grab a t-shirt, grab a hat, grab some stickers, help support the boys. We definitely appreciate it. You can check us out here every single Monday night for the Knapp Daddy Cup Series for the rest of this season as we come into playoffs once again. And then our Season 3, which is already in the works, and we're super excited about it. If you can't get enough of the Knapp Daddy Racing Boys, you can also check us out on Doghouse Racing TV on Thursday night for their Cup Series. You can find us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, Yik Yak, I'm sure. But we also go live on TikTok as often as we can. But either way, we are very happy to be here, very proud to be here, and appreciate each and every one of you that has been tuning in. It has been a banner year for the channel, banner year for this league and for these drivers. And we want to make sure that we let all of you know that we appreciate it so much. The viewership's been amazing. So thank you to each and every one of you who tunes in with us week after week to cheer on your drivers and help support the Knapp Daddy Cup Series. Be sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet and leave a like on the stream. It helps out a ton, helps us defeat the YouTube algorithm overlords. And then, as always, get in the comments, get loud, cheer on your favorite drivers. Already got VO78787 in here saying, "Go Everett, go." refer to the 01 car of Everett Larson, who was our winner last week at Gateway. But with that being said, like I mentioned before, we have 165 laps of action coming your way from Chicagoland Speedway. Already heard from some of our drivers that it is fast, and it is going to be a fun race out there. So with that all being said, I will go ahead and shut up and tune it over to my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, to say some more intelligent things about Chicagoland and what we can expect to see tonight. John, take it away, sir.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to another good week of racing here. We got the wild card week coming straight your way here at Chicagoland. This is one of my personal favorite tracks. I know a few other drivers share that same sentiment about this track, but definitely a fun one. As you see Brandon Lopez out there ripping some laps now as practice is coming to an end here very soon. We did have some issues regarding the session actually closing down these drivers mid-practice, and also the new overlay system we got up on the left-hand side of your screen was kind of giving us some problems for a second, but I think everything is fixed and underway now, so we should be good to go. Coming into the night, here is your standing board. If you see the names in yellow, that means they are a wild card driver, so the top 4 of those drivers in finishing position or in points tonight just for this race. The top 2 will advance to playoffs to make it 14 drivers in the playoffs. Right now, I only believe we have Ira Kohlhaas, who is going to make it through in the playoffs because the other drivers are not present here. So if they do happen to show up here in the next few minutes, those guys will be battling out. But if not, that will be your playoff right there as we head on into the next 3 races over the next 3 weeks to figure out who is going to win this thing and take home that prize at the end. But few more minutes left here of practice. Looking at the board here, Ira Kohlhaas setting the fastest lap by almost a 10th. Coming out there and ripping it, putting it down. We saw Brian Gibbons have that bad week last week. He's looking to bounce back this week, and he's in second place right now. Mitchell Wilson still searching for that win, sitting in third on the practice board so far. So, but a lot of these guys too, I mean, you know, my strategy, Hunter, is that if you feel really confident really fast at a track, right when you get to the start-finish line of a very fast lap, you might let off or hit the brake a little bit so nobody can see your fast time and then try to go watch your line and try to steal from it. So that's a little strategy that I know we always try to put in there, but not sure if these guys will, but it could definitely be happening here as we see Jamie Horner there on pit road. Let's pull up some race info for you as we're getting ready to go to qualifying. Here, this 1.5 mile track tonight, 1.5 miles at Chicagoland. That got that famous curved backstretch. Could play a little bit of problems with people, especially as they enter turn 3. Track's going to definitely eat your tires up, especially if you stay on the high side, but that's going to be the fast line on that high side if you want to try to make passes. But I think the low side's where it's going to be at, playing over this 165 lap race. The boys will have 4 sets of tires tonight on 70% fuel, so we expect to see them go about 40 to 45 laps. But other than that, track's a little bit warmer now than it was earlier, 69 degrees, and I expect it to keep going up as this race goes on, so it could make for an interesting night. But let's head over here and see what these dudes are doing in qualifying.
I was going to say, I definitely expect a very interesting night of racing here. Like you said, it's going to be a little cooler, so the track, I mean, it is going to be fast. We've already heard a couple people say how fast the track is. We already heard a couple of guys. I know we were talking to Greg McConey before the race started. He was saying that high line is crazy fast, but I made a joke saying, you know, but after like lap 20, lap 25, you know, your tires are going to be feeling it. And he went, oh, like lap 7. So, excuse me. Sorry, I just ate dinner. But he was saying that, you know, after about like lap 7, those guys are probably going to be feeling it. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see. Again, we talk about a lot of these guys have different strategies on whether they're going to be kind of more in the long run or whether they're going to be more in the short run. We've got guys that use both of those strategies very, very effectively throughout the season. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays into the race tonight, especially with this being the start of our playoff season. So we are going to have 2 stage breaks, which is unusual for the rest of the season, trying to give these guys a break, put some more strategy into how this race ends at 165 laps. We will be having our stage breaks at lap 40 and lap 95. Reminder, that will be as the 10th place driver or whatever whatever car inside of the top 10 is on the lead lap crosses to make it lap 41 or lap 96. That will be when the stages come out. That is for points. All of that will matter even more tonight as we are entering wild card race and heading into our playoffs in just another week. But got a couple other comments in here. Just your average Jake saying, let's go Wilson. Bring home a podium for your newborn nephew. We are all watching from the hospital room. Cheering on the number 46 of Mitchell Wilson there, who I know has been looking for his win all season long. Been very, very fast out there. Congratulations to Mitchell and family for the birth of the newborn nephew. I had, my sister-in-law had my first nephew about a year ago, and that baby is amazing. So I know how that must feel. Super excited for you guys. Kathy Trush saying Team Trush number 23. Have a great race, Brandon. And then we got AHPCSRN Everett is GOAT. Well, he definitely was the GOAT of the last race, coming in first place, but everyone is going to be reset tonight out here trying to get the win at Chicagoland. John, I know you said that this is one of your favorite tracks, as you mentioned earlier, but what are some of the things that make this a favorite track of yours, and what are some of the challenges that the drivers are going to face tonight as the race goes on?
I think one of the big things that makes this my favorite track is that me and this guy right here, Ty Robertson, actually won a championship here together not too long ago in another league. So me and Ty teammates in that league, and he really helped me push toward the front there and secure that championship. That was my first championship ever in a league, so it was a lot of fun having him back there helping me out and give me some support there, and figured out some good ways to run the track. I also won the same week in another league.
John, got Michael Lopez saying volume is really low.
But other than that, you just really got to learn how to save tires here, try to work these corners very well, get down, get low to the inside, and push out from there. And try not to spin it on exit, because that's where you're going to burn up that right rear. Joe Tardick's going to jump up to that number 1 spot. Ty Robertson right behind him. Sitting here watching Everett Larson come out here for his second lap, which is going to put him in 8th place.
Michael, we will try to get that volume fixed for you here. As mentioned earlier, the streaming software decided to update, so if y'all notice anything funny about the graphics or the audio or anything, please do be sure to let us know so we can get that fixed. And also, John Larson in there saying, let the tires eat. The tires are going to be eating here tonight. And then we also got Just Your Average Jake, first kid. It's very exciting. It's a boy, and is my little mini me. Gonna get him started real young so he can beat his uncle. Congratulations to you guys. That is super, super awesome. Hope that everybody's happy and healthy, and hope the little man is doing well here on his first night or two in the world here.
Well, that's going to be just about it for qualifying. We're going to head straight into the grid here, just because we had to start just a little bit later due to the issues with iRacing tonight and some of the other things, but we're going to jump straight into the grid if you want to kick us off here.
Happy to do it for you tonight, starting on the pole position for our wild card race at Chicagoland Speedway here in the Knapp Daddy Cup Series. We've got the number 48 of Joe Tardif rejoining us. Very excited to see him back. You know, he said earlier on that he's 1 for 2. I think he's been in a couple races and he won one of them. So already off to a good start there. Starting alongside him in second place is going to be the number 88 car of Ty Robertson. Starting right behind Joe Tardif, you're going to have Jamie Horn in the number 98 car looking for a win. Starting in third place, Ira Kohlhaas got the number 4 spot here tonight, looking to get into the playoffs via the wild card. Mitchell Wilson going to be starting in 5th place here tonight in that number 46 car, and he's going to have the number 16 car of Greg McConey starting beside him in 6th place. Brian Gibbons is going to take 7th place to start this race here tonight, and Brandon Lopez is going to start in 8th. Last week's winner, the 01 of Everett Larson, is going to be starting in 9th place. Frank Marchese starting in 10th place tonight. I believe he is getting ready to take the track here. He's going to be rounding out your top 10. Newcomer to the league, racing with Midwest E Motorsports, is going to be the number 55 of Grayson Brigham, starting in 11th place. Zachary Baker going to be starting in 12th place in that number 12 car. Brandon Trush is going to be starting 13th here tonight. Thomas McLaughlin is going to be starting 14th, and Dagan Barnes is going to be rounding out your field in 15th. As the pace card takes off, and we are getting ready to get this thing underway here. Just your average Jake hanging in there. Had him this morning at around 4:40 a.m. Why do babies never decide to come at convenient times? Slight complications, but he's pushing through. Love you all. God bless everyone. Let's see some solid racing. God bless y'all, man. Hope that everybody pulls through happy and healthy, and hopefully y'all get some sleep. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with babies and what times they decide to be born. John, remind me what time your daughter was born?
It wasn't until about 2 in the afternoon, but she was trying to tell us that she was coming in about 2 a.m., closer to 11:30 the night before, so yeah, we were up all night. But my wife is a trooper, pulled through. No way I could have done that. Shout out to all the women out there, especially the moms. Jamie Horn always likes to shout out his mom up here, so shout out to the moms.
Shout out to the moms, man. I believe we have, okay, let's see here. We got everyone on the track except for, I believe Thomas McLaughlin has taken the track yet, and neither has Dagan Barnes, but we are pace car making the hard left-hand turn, and we are underway and racing here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, Dagan Barnes is going to be serving a penalty tonight for one of the wrecks that he was in last week on that first lap. That also affected another driver, Brian Gibbons, currently sitting in 8th place. So his penalty tonight was starting from the pits. A little bit worse than EOL, a little bit less than a drive-through.
Somewhere in the middle, you know. But it looks like we have a couple guys that kind of just wanted to sit back a little bit here to start this race. Looks like we got Zach Baker that's going back down pit road, and then Frank Marchese that's going to be sitting back towards the back right now along with Brandon Trush. Up front, we've got a battle going on right now, though. That is Jamie Horn and Joe Tardif immediately getting off to the races there. Get around the inside of Ty Robertson to get this thing started. John, I know that you can see some of these guys, especially right there near the start-finish line, are dipping down below that white line. What's your strategy there? Is that something that you like to do yourself?
I did until I was told by a few people that you might actually burn your tires up a little bit more. I'm not sure how much proof there is to it. I haven't really ran it through Motec here at this track, but I will say that iRacing, since this is not a true race car, this is a simulator. Very accurate though, but it does try to simulate a car as much as possible. But sometimes it gets some things off that are more video game-like, and one of those things is if your tires are moving up and down, like going over a bump, it sees that as the tire heating up faster than if you're just turning it left and right. So if you do go off the track, you're going to hit that bump in the apron, and it's going to cause your tires to heat up just a little bit more. I know tracks like Martinsville, you can take advantage of that little strategy there by driving over the bumpers on your out lap for qualifying and put down 3/10 faster of a lap. So if anybody out there is in the iRacing scene, there's a little trick for you. Just don't do it in the league, or you will probably get put to the back pretty quickly. Because some consider that unethical. Others consider it an unwritten rule, or a rule that's not there.
A rule that's not there. Well, we do have a couple updates for you. Again, just share in the comments, and Mama is doing well. Love to hear that for you guys. And then as far as the race out there on the track right now, looks like Thomas McLaughlin is choosing not to take the track here for tonight. And Zachary Baker came out there and did a lap and then brought it down pit road. And I actually just heard from his teammate, Greg McConey, that he's looking to do a start and park. Oh, no, trouble, 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 trouble. Right up there near the front.
That is a lot of drivers involved in that. One of those being Mitchell Wilson, Jamie Horn. Mitchell Wilson just went in and towed. Greg McConey also involved in that. Not sure if Brandon Trush has any damage there.
Heard Mitchell Wilson come over the radio say the car slipped out on him. Looked like he was going into the turn there. It just looks like the nose of that car just kept going. That is going to collect a couple of drivers with looks to be some varying degrees of damage here.
Yeah, entering that corner. Right on that middle lane. Not a bad lane to be in, but or exiting that corner, I'm sorry, and just gets loose on him and kicks him out. McConey hard to the wall. Larson got a little piece of that. Kohlhaas got a little piece of that too. Kohlhaas a wild card driver tonight. Oh, Everett Larson has quite a bit of damage on that front bumper. That right tire is not moving at all. That's going to be quite a few minutes for repairs. This is a longer race though, so still plenty of time to try to get that thing repaired, bounce back. 1.5 mile track, you have more time to play with in the pits.
Yeah, 100%. These guys were doing about 30-second laps right about when that caution came out. And like you said, I think we have some varying degrees of caution here. Looks like Joe Tardif was able to get away without too much damage. Same for Ty Robertson. I know Everett Larson's dealing with some damage right there. I think Brandon Trush made it through pretty clean. Ira Kohlhaas got dinged up a little bit. Same for Jamie Horn, Frank Marchese. Greg McConey looking like he's been able to get it off of pit road. Unfortunately for Brian Gibbons, he is still down on pit road. And then same for Mitchell Wilson. Mitchell Wilson took a pretty hard hit right there. And that could be trouble for the rest of his night here. Got Ford ZB in the comments, which I know is Zach Baker, saying, good luck tonight, boys. Starting part tonight. Lack of sleep and 12-hour shifts getting the better of me tonight. I'll have the broadcast on in the background, though. Appreciate you very much, sir. Get you some sleep. I came off of the broadcast that I missed was because I was working in Las Vegas doing 12-hour shifts for work, and I can definitely agree that it had me whooped, and the last thing I felt like doing was driving a race car and having to focus on not hitting people and not wrecking. Looks like we're trying to get everybody gridded back up here. Looks like most everybody brought it back down pit road to try to get a little bit more of that damage repaired. John, like you said, we got a long race ahead of us here tonight, but unfortunate way to start for a lot of these guys right here.
Yeah, man, that's not a fun time. Ira Kohlhaas, Greg McConey, Everett Larson, Brian Gibbons, and Mitchell Wilson still down pit road right now as the pace car goes off.
Pace car is making that hard left-hand turn. Looks like we got a couple people headed back onto the track right now. Looks like Ira Kohlhaas has called it a night here. Should still be in a safe position for the pole. Earlier on, looks like everyone that he was going to be in battle with there was not able to make the race, so looks like Ira will be in regardless. So very happy for him. Ira is a very talented driver who I know has been getting a lot of repairs done on his personal setup, so it's been tough for him to get into races. So excited to have him back out on the track with us. But as of right this second, we've got, I believe that's going to be 7 cars out on the track. It's going to be Joe Tarter, Brandon Lopez, and Grayson Brigham out front, followed by Ty Robertson sitting in 4th place. And you're going to have Brandon Trush in 5th, Dagan Barnes in 6th, and then Frank Marchese right behind them sitting in 7th place. It's looking like Ira Kohlhaas and Mitchell Wilson will join Zach Baker and Thomas McLaughlin with a short night here tonight. Unfortunate to see, once again, had a lot of really, really fast cars out here tonight. I know a lot of the other guys are still trying to get those cars repaired right now. We will try to check in with some of those other drivers here in a little bit and see who is able to get back out on the track and who is able to get back to racing here. I believe Jamie Horn has gotten it back out on the track. He's going to be right there behind Frank Marchese. He's going to be in 8th place, 1 lap down. So still on pit road, we are going to have Everett Larson. We're going to have Greg McConey, Brian Gibbons, still waiting to get some of that damage repaired to their cars here on lap 14 of 165 at Chicago. Have John Larson in the comments saying, ouch, Everett's out. I don't know if that is full confirmation that his night is over or if he's still trying to get back out there, but he is still down on pit road and he's going to be 5 laps down as of right now. But out front, we've got a battle going on right now for 2nd and 3rd. That is Brandon Lopez and Grayson Brigham going back and forth side by side right now. Joe Tardif with about 7/10 of a second of a lead right now. Ty Robertson going to be sitting right behind them in 4th place. And then you're going to have Dagan Barnes sitting in 5th place right now. And then Brandon Trush sitting in 6th. With his teammate Jamie Horn right behind him, and then Frank Marchese sitting in 7th place, about 4 seconds behind the leader right now. Just your average Jake. Rough day for all of us, it seems. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate to see, like we were talking about earlier, really, really fast track here at Chicago tonight, and it just looked like, I don't know what you saw there, John, but it looked like the nose of Mitchell Wilson's car. Like he was trying to kind of go into the turn, sit it right there on that white line down there at the bottom where some guys are going below it, and it just seemed like his nose wanted to keep going down low.
Yeah, man, sometimes it'll just come out and grab you, especially in these cars here that can just snap loose on you. But this track, man, it's kind of finicky with the lines. You can kind of see 4 grooves as you go around the corner there, and you kind of pick one. You can run in any of those grooves that you would like to, but personally, I like staying out at the bottom. I feel like there's just a little bit more grip there. It seems like when you set in the middle of the corner, it feels like the car actually sets. I know I talked to you about that a lot when we were talking about driving and how to get around a track, but you'll feel the car kind of sit in the corner, and that's when you can start to throttle out. But sometimes these cars like to snap before they get to that set point.
100%. I know I've definitely had that happen to me, but update on the track here. So Jamie Horn had already made his way back out onto the track. He is 1 lap down in 8th. Greg McConey now back out onto the track as well. He's going to be 7 laps down in 9th place. Thomas McLaughlin has also made his way to the track. He is currently sitting in 10th place. He's going to be 9 laps down right now. And then we have Everett Larson joining the ranks of the drivers whose nights have unfortunately ended early. So we are going to have 10 cars out on the track, 7 on the lead lap, with a early night coming for the 01 of Everett Larson, the 29 of Ira Kohlhaas, the 74 of Brian Gibbons, and the 46 of Mitchell Wilson. Zachary Baker, as mentioned earlier, took a start and park for the night, trying to get himself some sleep, but still do have 7 cars out there on the track battling for it. And I know we've talked about it before, but sometimes things happen out on the track where other drivers wreck out, or maybe you get a little lucky getting out of a caution or something like that happens. And I know we've heard some people say that, like, oh, it feels like a cheap win or something like that once you get across the finish line. And I couldn't disagree with that frame of thought more. I know for a lot of guys, I know all these guys are very, very competitive, so I know that's going to be a thought that's crossing people's minds. I mean, I've been around all these guys enough, talked to all these guys enough to kind of know the thoughts that are going to be going through your mind after getting to the end of a 165 lap race. But I mean, They don't ask how, they ask how many, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I think going back to Everett Larson last week, he had a cheap win after he led pretty much every lap there at the first stage. There really is no cheap wins, especially when you're in very competitive leagues. Nothing comes cheap. Part of the game is, this is where I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit, because it's my pet peeve when somebody loses to you or comes in behind you, just anywhere on the track. I'm like, well, I would have won if I didn't wreck here. I would have won if I had better tires on the car or stuff like that. I mean, that's part of the game. You got to avoid the wrecks. You got to stay out of trouble. You got to keep it consistent all the way through and keep the tires clean, keep the car clean. I mean, there is no easy win. There's no cheap wins. You have to do your part lap after lap.
100%. And then, like you said, you know, it's one thing if there's a caution and it seems like very preventable, or like someone did something that they shouldn't have done. But I mean, I just went back and watched that again. It really just looks like Mitchell's car slid out on him. There's not a hole. Everyone's out here pushing hard. You're going to be going back and forth like, oh, I could have done this, oh, I could have done that. But I mean, it just looks like one of those things that happens during racing. And a track like this where it's this fast, like we talked about at the beginning of the race, you got the banking here. If you try to really throw on the brakes here or really try to swerve, I mean, you're in that infield around like RV lot 3. So, I mean, all these guys are doing the best they can. It's just one of those unfortunate things that happens in racing. I don't really think that there's too much Mitchell could have done there to avoid his car spinning. And it's unfortunate that a lot of really fast guys ended up getting collected as part of it. But we still got a really competitive crowd out there. Still got the number 48 machine of Joe Tardif, who once again, we were talking to him before the race, and he was saying that he hadn't been able to race as much this year. He's had a lot of stuff going on. Looking forward to getting back involved in season 3, which we're gonna have right around the corner. I really cannot wait to make some announcements about that. I mean, you still got other guys who are battling for points and battling for position. Brandon Lopez is out there. He's trying to get up there in points. Ty Robertson been right there battling for our championship all season long. And he's going to be right there in the mix with Grayson Brigham. This is his first race here with us. Brandon Trush had a really great season so far. And you got guys like Dagan Barnes, who's had some bad luck, trying to bounce back. Frank Marchese also had some bad luck, and now they're on the lead lap battling. And then Jamie Horn, strong season, but had a really unfortunate last couple of races. He's up there. He's only a lap down. There's still plenty of time to get it back. And then Greg McConey looking for his first win this season as well. I mean, at this point, yeah, you're 7 laps down, but you're on the track. That's pretty much locking you into a top 10 at this point.
Yeah, could be worse for sure. We know that Jamie Horn will definitely get his lap back at the end of lap 40 when that first caution does come out. And then it'll be Greg McConey there every caution after that. So really, for Greg McConey, you're kind of hoping for a caution right now or something to happen. Just saw. I thought that one somebody blinked out on us, but they came right back. Brandon Trush making that pass there, and I was watching him a little bit earlier. You see him riding that low side, trying to get all the way down to that white line as close as possible. And that's going to save him a lot of tire. I think he's going to pull into the leader as this run goes on if he's able to save.
But you can kind of go out here and compare the lines here, and that's one of the things people should check out at home as we're kind of scrolling between the different drivers and looking at where they're at on the track and what their lap times are, especially compared to where they started the race. I mean, we had some of our fastest qualifiers were under 30 seconds. 29.86 for your pole winner, Joe Tardif. And he's running a 30.66 right now. Brandon Lopez about a tenth faster than that last lap. And if you look at where those guys are on the track right now, Joe Tardif very quickly going up there to that high side right now. We talked about it before. That is the fast line at this track, 100% without a doubt. But you are going to be able to save more tire by going to the bottom of the track. And it's looking like Brandon Lopez, at least as of right now, has been a little bit quicker to get down to the low side of the track.
Yeah, if Lopez keeps that same line, he should be able to catch. Just don't try to get too eager and bite off too much right now. Don't hit the wall. But if he keeps running that low side there, especially over the long runs, he will definitely have this pass. He's been closing in more and more. See Ty Robertson taking the opposite strategy, going to the high side, trying to get as much time as he can with only 10 to go here in the stage.
And I know, John, we've talked about like kind of lines and strategy before in races, and on races like this where it is very obvious on like, okay, this side's the high, this side's the fast side, but I mean, it's going to eat your tires up, and then this side's going to be, I mean, realistically, especially at the start of this race, you could argue that the low side was probably a full 10th slower, if not even a little bit more than the high side. But I know a lot of times on tracks like this, you'll start your race on the slower side, and then in a situation like this where you've got about 8 to go is when you'll try to move it up to the fast lane and just hope that you've saved enough tire to that point to be able to make the push and make it stick.
Yeah, if you can save enough rubber to run that fast side when it matters here at the end, that's kind of the goal. But the problem is if you get too far out behind that leader, whoever you're trying to pass, you could burn it up just trying to get there. And then making that pass is a whole different story. I know here at Chicagoland, it is tough to pass here.
What would be your strategy for trying to make passes here at Chicagoland? Would it be that you got to get to the high side and try to make it happen up there and just hope you have the tire to do it? Or is it waiting for everybody else to fire off and just stay low?
Man, I just try to beat him on exit. That's kind of the big thing here. And we'll try to hop into a cockpit cam here in a second, but I've been told by one of the drivers in this league, actually, Jamie Horn, was giving me a little bit of tips and tricks here that if you exit low on the backstretch going into going out of 2 to the backstretch, but if you exit low instead of driving it all the way back to the wall, you can actually make up a little bit of time here. So instead of floating high here where Brandon's going, you just kind of stay in that lower lane for a little bit longer.
Something to keep an eye on here as well is that Ty Robertson, currently in 3rd place, last lap 30.52, Brandon Lopez 30.668, and Joe Tardif with a 30.739. Ty Robertson is turning up the heat here as we come into the conclusion of the first stage. Reminder, the stage will end as we conclude lap 40 to make it lap 41, and that will be when the first car on the lead lap, or the last car on the lead lap rather, inside of the top 10 crosses the line to make it lap 41, which in this case would be the 7th place car, which is Frank Marchese.
Checking in with some of these other drivers too. Got Dagan Barnes out here behind his teammate Grayson Brigham. Dagan running in 6th place right now. Teammate Grayson Brigham, first race with us in the league, running in 5th place right now. And they are both chasing down Brandon Trush, who is about 5 seconds off of the leader at this point.
About 5 seconds off the leader, and then he's trying to chase down Ty Robertson, who is in hot pursuit of the leaders right now. He has cut that lead from just over a second to about a half a second here as we approach lap 38 right here. We're on lap 38 right here, so just a couple laps to go until we have our first stage break here at Chicagoland. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us here tonight. We've got 17 people in the stream right now. Thank you all for hanging with us. I know it's been a hectic start to the race, but we appreciate all of you being here nonetheless. Be sure you leave a like on the stream, subscribe if you haven't, and be sure to stay joined with us, stay cheering on your drivers as playoff season starts next week.
Yeah, I think Lopez starting to use that high side a little bit more. Even the middle lane kind of hurt him there. He was going to the high side trying to knock down some time, and I think he's burning up a little bit too much tire to catch up with Joe Tardif. His teammate Ty Robertson making a big run right here. He might try to catch him and put him on the outside. Robertson's going to go to the high side. Not going to have it here as Brandon's going to slide back up in there.
A good job of maneuvering around there. Brandon Lopez trying to make sure that he hangs on to that 2nd place finish in the stage here. Ty really trying to let that high side rip right now. Don't think he's going to have anything to fight back. It's going to be Joe Tardif, Brandon Lopez, and Ty Robertson, 1, 2, 3 for your first stage here. at Chicagoland, and we are just waiting on Frank Marchese to get around the track here. As soon as he crosses the stripe, that is going to bring out our first stage at Chicagoland. Congratulations to Joe Tardif, Brandon Lopez, Ty Robertson, Brandon Trush, Grayson Brigham, Dagan Barnes, Frank Marchese, Jamie Horn, Greg McConey, and Thomas McLaughlin for their stage points here. That caution is going to give these guys a chance to get down pit road, get some fresh tires, get some fuel. I know we talked about it earlier. I know some of these guys did come down pit road a second time with that first caution, but we are expecting somewhere between 40 and 45 laps of fuel. So a lot of these guys probably going to be hurting for fuel, and I know those tires got to be hurting. And it gives a chance for some of our other guys who were maybe a little bit more involved in that early caution to get down and get some repairs. I believe it's also going to give Jamie Horn the chance to get the lucky dog and get his lap back. John, I don't know about you, but for a 1.5 mile track, this race seems like it is kind of flying by.
Yeah, man, it does. It's only 30-second laps. Kind of reminds me a lot of, like, obviously not Bristol where you're running 14-second laps, but it just seems like if everybody keeps it straight and keeps it going, it will go by very quickly. So not a lot of time to make your move. Got to do it quickly.
So now we're only 40 laps into this race, and obviously we've had a little bit more of a hectic start than maybe we're normally used to. But what do you think about that battle that we've seen going on out front? It's been Joe Tardif, Brandon Lopez, and Ty Robertson kind of out there in the front for pretty much the majority of this race here. But I know we kind of saw the tale of two strategies there at the end. I mean, it looked like Joe Tardif was kind of ripping the high side more, and then you saw guys like Ty Robertson and Brandon Lopez who were using the low side more. But I mean, realistically, there at the end, Joe Tardif still had plenty of speed to finish in front of those guys and get that stage 1 win. But I guess the question would more be how many more laps out front did he have?
With Ty Robertson approaching like he was, I don't know how much longer he could have held that out there. And what's going to be interesting is stage 2 is actually going to go past the pit window for these guys. If it is about 40 to 45 laps like we're expecting, it's going to extend it just a little bit longer, so they're going to have to pit under green. So, I mean, there's going to be a little bit more of a long-run strategy, and there at the end, it's going to be even longer. It's kind of how we set up this race with the stage breaks to cater to some of the short-run guys, but also to see how they do in the long-run speed as well. But, I mean, if you're Joe Tardif, you just have to make adjustments accordingly. You saw those guys approaching, might have to take a different line. If you're Brandon Lopez, I mean, I think he knows what he's got to do from here. It's a good run for a first stage to kind of figure out where you're at and how your car is going to handle over the race. And
something else here, just apologies for interrupting, how rude of me, but Brandon Lopez and Ty Robertson went back down pit road.
Probably take a little bit more fuel to see if they can stretch it there all the way to the break. Teammates working on that same strategy there, but yeah, if you're Ty Robertson, you know when that car is going to start wearing out and how much more you had left in it. So that's a really good spot that I think Ty Robertson's in right now.
100% looking like Frank Marchese's leaving it down on pit road a little longer, probably trying to get a little bit of extra damage repaired. I know Jamie Horn is now back out on the racetrack as well. He's going to be on the lead lap here. That is going to leave the 2 cars on the track that are laps down as Greg McConey, who is currently going to be in 9th place, and Thomas McLaughlin, who is in 10th place. Greg McConey will be in the lucky dog position for the foreseeable future. And we are back underway here at Chicagoland. Wow, brain fart there. Lap 45 when we cross the stripe right there. Joe Tardif out to a great restart there. Grayson Brigham, really good run up there on that high side right now too. Oh, Brandon Trush right in there behind him. Brandon Trush makes a move to kind of get over onto the higher side right there. Dagan Barnes going to be right there in the mix as well. In fourth place, got Brandon Lopez in that 5 car on his low side. Oh, looks like Grayson Brigham got a little bit loose right there, able to save it though. Going to lose a couple spots, but really good move right there. That looked almost like what we saw happen to Mitchell Wilson earlier. Looks like Grayson was able to get rolled down enough to get the wheels back under. That was really close to being another caution.
Look at Dagan Barnes flying up here in the second place position right now.
Look at Dagan go. He's going to have Brandon Lopez there on his high side. And Brandon's going to take it all the way up to the wall here. Dagan looking to use a little bit more of the low side right there.
Oh, Dagan gets really loose as Brandon Lopez gets on his bumper.
It's like he's able to save it without too much damage there.
A lot of debris on that car. He was floating right up in front of Thomas McLaughlin as well.
Just heard Brandon Lopez come over the radio and say, I'm pretty sure that was some dirty air right there.
I think Brandon Lopez's arch nemesis is dirty air. These guys are 3 wide right now. Jamie Horn, Grayson Brigham, Brandon Trush.
Those boys are racing right now.
Meanwhile, Brandon Lopez taking over the lead, but he's still got Joe Tardif there on this outside. It's very hard to complete a pass here, man. You got to really be fast on exit and slide up. Not going to have it here. You might have to be okay with riding here for a second if you're Lopez. I think Tardif is taking the line that he likes anyways. Problem for Lopez is that he has to enter a lot lower, which is going to make that right front burn up a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of a tale of two evils right there, because we talked about it earlier. Joe Tardif really making that high side work here, which you talked about can really be a burden on your tires, but it's where he's been strong, it's where he's been confident all night long. And I think we've said that before too, right? The best line is the one that you feel confident in. Screw what the announcers say, screw what everyone else says. If that's where you feel fast, and if that's where you feel confident, and you feel confident that you can make that play for the rest of the race, and you can make that fit into your strategy, do that. What the announcers say or what everyone else says is completely irrelevant. But that's where Joe Tardif's been making it work here tonight. He's done a really good job of it. And Brandon's been kind of favoring the lower side, but like you said, the way that Joe Tardif's kind of running it right now, it means that Brandon has to stick it really, really low, which almost kind of reverses it back on Brandon to the point where his, like you said, his right front's going to kind of take a beat down there trying to make this pass on Joe Tardif.
Yeah, I was about to say, if I'm Joe Tardif, I'm going to try to squeeze him off exits here as well to make him very uncomfortable. He's going to want to try to float up to the high side on exit. You just got to be there and not allow that. But and if I'm Brandon Lopez, on the other hand, on exit, I'm trying to get up all the way to his door. I mean, close that gap between both of us. I want to be right at his door. Side draft really isn't going to work for him that well on that side, on the left side with these next-gen cars. But at least it gives you a better angle and a better arc to get down to the corners. It makes the guy above you just a little bit more uncomfortable.
One of the other things I think it's just, maybe this is just from the guys who run the league perspective / the announcers perspective, you know, you start off a race and you just have a really unfortunate wreck, right? Like we talked about it earlier. You hate to see it. A lot of the guys that were involved in that caution were really, really fast. I know this was going to be a real barn burner, but to see these guys kind of bounce back away from that caution, I mean, these guys up front are driving their butts off right now. And then you kind of mix that in with, like, you've got Joe Tardif, who's been out of the league for a while, but now he's back, and he is just giving Brandon Lopez every bit that he wants up up there for second place right now. Ty Robertson already has wins under his belt, battling for a championship. Jamie Horn, we know what he's capable of and what he's already done in this league. And you got Brandon Trush, who's always a solid competitor, and you're mixing that in with guys who have been here and done that, like Frank Marchese, Greg Tony, who's trying to battle back with some laps right now. And then some guys who are a little bit newer to the league, or newer to iRacing, Grayson Brigham, Dagan Barnes, and now those guys are running in 6th and 7th right now. Dagan Barnes is in 2nd place before we got loose just a second ago. We saw Grayson Brigham running as high as 3rd earlier on. So I think that's one of the really cool things about this league and everything that we've seen. We've seen these guys make crazy improvements as the season goes on. We've seen these guys kind of learn how to race each other as the season goes on. As we kind of get up here right now, you take a look at the leaders. Brandon Lopez again side by side with Joe Tardif. Those guys just drag racing down the backstretch. And then now you have Ty Robertson and Jamie Horn in the mix, who are right there, and they're looking for their shot at the lead.
Yeah, I get the strategy that Lopez is doing there. His teammate Ty Robertson's going to go by. Jamie Horn's going to look to the outside now to try to get through. If you're Lopez, I would just stick with the same strategy. Stay on the low side. This is a you already know that the fuel window is going to be tight. That's why they strategized and tried to take some extra fuel there in their caution. So running that high side is not doing you any favors. Longer side of the track is going to waste more fuel up there. Stick to your strategy. It got you to the front. And I think he'll be back up in the front near the end of this thing.
As they're saying, that's, again, it's tough. And I'm speaking the perspective of somebody who's probably too competitive. I've been told that a time or two. But it sucks. You're running in like 1st or 2nd and something, and then all of a sudden people start passing you. Now you're in 4th, you're in 5th. Just every neuron in your brain is going, I'm losing now. I gotta go. I gotta go. But in reality, it's like you said, for Brandon, when you're in that position, you've already been running low the majority of the race. We knew you're going to be able to save more tire down there. At this point, if you're running 4th already, but you're still right there with the leaders, I see no way it benefits Brandon to really start, like, burn it down on the high side right here on lap 16.
Yeah, just to compare and contrast strategies here, I like what Ty Robertson's doing. He's coming up. He's not going to have the pass, not even to the door right now, but he's going to slide back in line and try to get that draft behind him so he can make a good run to get a pass. Then once you get to your corner, you can break off just like Jamie Horn did and select the line you want to go. Or if you want to go high side, you can go low side. But right now, you want to draft and get a good run, be as fast, now break off and find your line that you like, just like those 3 did right there. It's beautiful.
I would say, from someone who's been in iRacing a lot longer than I have, like, give me a second to just kind of talk about the racecraft we're seeing between this top 3 with Joe Tardif, Ty Robertson, and Jamie Horn.
Ty Robertson making a pass right there for the lead. Jamie Horn's going to follow there on the outside. And they're going to have a run here.
Sorry, my voice was kind of running away from me there for a second. It's still running away. It doesn't want to come back.
Get you some go find it.
Well, no, what I was going to say was just kind of talk to me a little bit about the racecraft that we're seeing between that top 3 right now. Because, I mean, it kind of seems like we're almost watching like the ballet lessons of NASCAR right there in front. I mean, that is just a really good job by all of those guys.
Yeah, man, it's just a lot of respect, I think, out of all those guys racing around each other, trying to find their line and being respectful to the other person's line. But really, at the same time, you're not really respecting their line. I mean, I like to say that. It's like they're driving with respect, but at the same time, if I'm there, I'm not. I mean, I'm going to try to squeeze you. I'm going to try to make you feel as uncomfortable as possible. We saw Ty Robertson doing that. Jamie Horn been doing a little bit of that as well. But, I mean, any advantage you can possibly grab to try to get around them, try to get close to them.
I mean, at the same time, and like you said, like, it's respectful while not being respectful. Like you said, they're not, like they're trying to make each other uncomfortable. They're trying to kind of get up in the other car's business and make them uncomfortable, make them make a mistake. But, I mean, in this case, I'm knocking on wood right now because I'm just enjoying what I'm watching, but no one's making a mistake. That's just, everyone's everybody's doing exactly what they are intending to do when they are intending to do it. And it's simultaneously working for all three guys.
Yeah, really all four too. And Brandon Lopez sitting there able to just hang there for a second. I mean, I don't think he's trying to push. I think he has the car to push up to the front, but I think it's a smart move by him to just stay right there, see what's going on ahead of you, let those guys battle out and battle up. But yeah, I think the higher quality of league you get, there are still mistakes. Believe me. Joe Tardif is making mistakes. Jamie Horn is making mistakes. Ty Robertson, Brandon Lopez, those guys are making mistakes. But the better you get at racing, the smaller the mistakes get. And you have to try to minimize those small mistakes to win races in high lobbies like this or high strength of fields like this.
I mean, it's just really cool to watch, man. Currently got 7 cars on the lead lap right now. Dagan Barnes, who was running in 7th place, is going to be going down a lap here as he has brought it down pit road. Behind him, the next car a lap down would be Frank Marchese, currently running in 8th place. Greg McConey also brought it down pit road a couple of laps ago. That is going to have him 9 laps down in 9th place. And then you're going to have Thomas McLaughlin in that number 38 car, sitting in 10th place right now. He is 10 laps down. Looks like Ty Robertson and Brandon Lopez have both elected to bring it down here as we go from lap 67 to lap 68. That is going to move Grayson Brigham up into 4th place. That is going to move Brenton Trush into 3rd and leave Joe Tardif and Jamie Horn in a absolute war for 1st place.
Now, I know Jamie Horn's a little bit more familiar to us, but Joe Tardif, actually, I think this is his 3rd race with us now, and he's won one of those races. So,
yeah.
The guy is a competitor, so something to look forward to. Talked to him tonight before the race started about how he was going to join a lot more races next year. And speaking of next season, I should say, not next year, but got a very exciting schedule that we just released to the drivers today for our new Saturday night series. If you are into iRacing and want a place to race, come out, come join us. Don't think it's going to be broadcast at this point, but it will be a rotating car schedule featuring the Gen 6 cars from NASCAR back in 2020-ish, I believe. Also going to have the 1987 cars, speaking like the Thunderbird, the Buick Sabre, and
the Death Traps.
Yes, the ones that have no power steerings. Those are going to make a little feature there for 4 or 5 races. And then to mix it all up, we're going with an Indy car as well that's going to rotate into the schedule.
I'm so looking forward to that. The plan is for me and John to actually drive that one. If we have any broadcasters that want to cut the boys a deal, we are open to offers, but me and John are both going to try to get behind the wheel for that one and get out here and have some fun with our boys, and really looking forward to that as we look out onto the track. And Jamie Horn has gotten the job done versus Joe Tardif there. I did also see Jamie Horn kind of smack the wall there when he was trying to get back off of turn 3. We're going to see if that affects him here as you go into lap 72. Right now, you have a new race leader, Jamie Horn, finally getting it away from Joe Tardif. But I mean, I know we saw it with Brandon Lopez and Ty Robertson in the mix a few laps ago before they brought it down pit road. But what a battle between Jamie and Joe there. It looks like Jamie Horn's going to go ahead and bring it down pit road, get his lap led, and then bring it down. That is going to leave Joe Tardif out on the track. Back in the race lead, that's going to move Grayson Brigham up to 2nd place. Everybody else has already brought it down pit road. So those guys will be good to go all the way up until our stage break entering lap 90, or at the conclusion of lap 90 rather. A reminder that will be as we transition from lap 90 to lap 91. It'll be the last car on the lead lap that is inside of the top 10. So as of right this second, that would be Jamie Horn if he gets out in front of Joe Tardif.
Yeah, this is kind of...
Can you imagine if Joe and or Grayson were able to make it all the way to lap 90? I mean, we, at least from our perspective, I don't think that happens. I don't think that physically can happen, especially because we know some guys like I know Brandon Lopez and Ty Robertson both came back down pit road under our last stage break and were able to kind of top off on fuel. Nobody else did. And those guys pitted. So, I mean, do you see a world where Joe or Grayson can make it all the way?
No. And,
no.
I mean, you'd have to be on that clutch literally halfway around the track. You're going to lose a lot of time. I think those guys behind him, and Robertson, Lopez, Horn, Trush, Marchese, all of them did a really good job of pitting before the leader pits there. They're going to have the faster car for sure for the next few laps, and probably for a while here if he doesn't pit soon.
Speaking of that, since you mentioned that you might lose a lot of time, so Joe Tardif currently running a 30.88 which is about a standard lap time right here, right now. I'm looking at like Ty Robertson, Brandon Lopez. They both ran very similar last laps to that. Jamie Horn much faster. Jamie Horn with a 30.1, and then a 30.0 that last time by. Grayson Brigham ran a 32.267. So
yeah, that's some evidence for the fuel saving there.
So
Let's see if we can actually hop in the cockpit with him and see just what Grayson Brigham is doing. And he's actually downshifting and actually coming down the pits road now. Okay. So forget what we said. Thought maybe he was holding the clutch a little bit, trying to save it. But last person to not pit, Joe Tardif, last pitted on lap 42. We did see Greg McConey make it 45 laps on a tank. That did include a stage caution and also the caution at the beginning of the race. And he also set the pits for a few laps too, so that might add to that total. So I think 42 is about the longest you can make it, plus or minus 3.
heard Ty Robertson come over the radio say, "Go ahead, Jamie." Ty Robertson and Jamie Horner, pretty much the entire rest of the field is going to be, not pretty much, just the rest of the field is going to be a lap down right now to your race leader, Joe Tardif, who is currently on lap 80, like you said, John, but last pitted on lap 42, so he is on lap 38 of his run here. We kind of called the gas at 40 to 45, so he's at the beginning stages of what we think is the fuel window here. And I mean, and he's also not holding up at all. I mean, again, I'm looking at the other lap times here. Jamie Horner ran a 30.24 last lap, 30.83 for Ty Robertson, 30.85 for Brandon Lopez, 30.93 for Brandon Trush. That's the rest of your top five. Joe Tardif ran a 30.98. That is the exact same lap time, pretty much. So he's not holding up. I mean, he's either trying to run it out of gas, or he's just trying to build as big of a lead as he can before bringing it down for the stage caution, which I guess I'm trying to do the math on my head on that. For pitting this late in the stage, I guess if you have enough of a leader in this case where you have a lap on everyone else, I mean, I can see the vision, but it's just how fast are you going to be able to get off of pit road, or are you just planning to come down pit road, like throw a gallon of gas in it and then keep going? I don't know. I'm trying to do the math on this one. I'm confusing myself, I think.
I don't think he has enough time to make a little quick stop just for fuel. I think Jamie Horner, got the deltas up on the screen for you right now. Jamie Horner only 33 seconds away, has pulled it in from 37 seconds on lap 74. So over 10 laps, he's gained about 4 seconds, which theoretically, yes, he would have enough to get run out of gas, but I think he's going to run out of gas if possibly. What makes me doubt myself on that is that he's still running it this hard, because I know if I'm losing time like that, I don't know how hard I'm going to run it and for how long. Looks like he's going to bring it down right now, actually.
And there's Joe Tardif bringing it down pit road. I'm wildly curious to see the strategy he goes with here, as we are so close to our stage cautions. That's going to give pretty much everyone from 2nd to 7th their lap back. Then the other lap down car is going to be Dagan Barnes, who's currently 3 laps down in 8th. Greg McConey is 9 laps down in 9th. And then Thomas McLaughlin going to be 10 laps down in 10th.
I don't see the tires coming up. Looks like he is going to take fuel as Jamie Horner is coming around now, about to hit the start finish.
Gas and go.
I think he's going to lose his position here in Jamie Horner. Maybe even to Ty Robertson as well. As there goes Jamie Horner around.
And I really do. I think I see the vision of what he was going for. But I mean, in either case, you won stage 1, and now you come back out here on stage 2, and you're probably going to finish 3rd, depending on if your tires can hold up and let you keep Brandon Lopez off your tail. Not a bad night's showing.
Yeah, absolutely not. He's got about 5 to go before his stage ends. Trying to get around Robertson and hold off Lopez at the same time. And I was just remembering, too, I was thinking about it when I raced here last. It wasn't actually too long ago, so it should have been about the same. But I remember the tires wore off a lot the first 10 to 15 laps, and then they seemed to plateau out for, quite a while. Like a very long stretch. It just seems like your times are about the same no matter what you do. And then after that, and you don't really know when. It could be 30 laps, it could be 50 laps, but it falls off another little drop on your tires there. But I think Tardif's got it really figured out here.
I mean, he seems very confident in his car tonight and in his strategy. Like we said earlier on tonight, all we could really talk about was how it just seemed like the high side was going to be the fast temporary side, low side was going to be where you wanted to stay all night long. And I mean, Joe Tardif's kind of been pretty consistently proving us wrong here tonight, because he has stuck to the high side all night long. I mean, he's had a rocket ship here tonight.
Yeah, if it sounds like we're backpedaling, we definitely are.
Yeah, it sounds like we're trying to go back on what we said. That's exactly what we're doing. Because Joe Tardif is making us look like idiots. Not only has he raced the high side pretty much all night long, but I mean, he's been fast as expected up there, but been able to run it for the long run. I mean, we thought if you were sticking to the high side, 10, 15 laps, and you're going to have a noticeable difference. And I mean, he's just been whooping up on people back there.
Yeah, but right now it is all Jamie Horn, who is your current race leader. Ty Robertson about 2.8 out the back of him. Tardif is sitting about 4 tenths behind Ty Robertson, and then behind Joe Tardif about a half a second is Brandon Lopez.
And then Grayson in that 55 car did just go a lap down. So now the stage caution is going to be on Mr. Brandon Trush here, who's currently running in 5th place, as he's going to approach the line right here. And that is, oh, I'm sorry, stage 95. I'm an idiot.
Stage are going to be at lap 40 and lap 95 tonight. Brandon Lopez now in another battle with Joe Tardif, trying to ride that inside still. If Brandon Lopez did take tires, he's got a lot fresher tires than Tardif does. Throw up that last lap time for you on your screen there on the left-hand side. That last lap might have been a little bit of a fluke, but there we go, a little bit of update there. Lopez just a little bit slower. And I joke on Brandon Lopez a lot because he always talks to me about clean air, dirty air, and how it affects the car and stuff like that. But this track, definitely clean air is going to help you out a ton if you can get kind of further out there in the open.
Oh, and I just heard over the radio, Dagan Barnes coming over the radio, tire down as he is trying to limp that thing onto pit road. Dagan Barnes going to be trying to get that thing down pit road without causing any additional damage to the car. As that is going to give us 5 cars on the lead lap currently. Braden Trush being the last car on the lead lap right now in 5th place. I mean, look at Joe Tardif still able to hold off Brandon Lopez on old tires. That is kind of mind-boggling, actually.
Yeah, and it's frustrating too, man. Just trying to make a pass, you can't. You know you're faster on the stretches.
And that is going to conclude our second stage. Jamie Horn going to be your winner of stage number 2 at Chicagoland Speedway. Followed up by Ty Robertson in 2nd place, Joe Tardif in 3rd, Brandon Lopez in 4th, Brandon Trush in 5th, Grayson Brigham going to get 6th place, Frank Marchese going to get 7th right there. Dagan Barnes still going to get 8th place, even down on pit road with a tire down. Greg McConey going to get 9th place there, and Thomas McLaughlin going to get 10th place. I believe Grayson Brigham is going to be the one to get his lap back here. Once we get all of this sorted out here as the pace car comes back out. And these guys are going to come down pit road for the final stage. Caution, congratulations to those guys for picking up those bonus points here as we get ever closer to the end of this race. And while we have a little break here, John, I mean, first of all, thank you everybody for joining us here on your Monday night. It's been a crazy race here at Chicagoland here tonight, and we appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, liking, subscribing, commenting, cheering on your drivers, all that good stuff. We hope you stick around for playoff season because it's definitely going to be an exciting one. But I mean, John, just give me your kind of general thoughts. Let's say 30 seconds or less on what we've seen at Chicagoland here so far.
It's been about what I expected, minus the first little wreck there. I mean, things happen. I get it for sure. I know it messed up a few drivers' nights, but it happens. We just saw it there. Just like not much you can do about it. Car just kind of snaps on you. Kind of has a mind of its own sometimes, but yeah, I don't put any fault or blame really on anybody. It's kind of what happens in racing, kind of equivalent to somebody's tire going down and catching into you. I know I've been in my fair share of those, but other than that, just the trying to get past people and the difficulty of making a pass is about par for the course here for this track. Oh, Brandon Lopez, fast off of pit road. He might have got 2nd place off of that, and he's going to let Tardif by, so I think Tardif beat him off.
I'm assuming everybody there went ahead and took their 4 tires and fuel like we talked about earlier. You got 4 sets of tires down pit road here tonight. It's looking like, at least from what I'm seeing currently, that it's, at least from the way they're lined up right now, it is Jamie Horn, and then it is Brandon Lopez, or no, it's Jamie Horn, Joe Tardif, Brandon Lopez, Ty Robertson, Grayson Brigham. And I think Grayson came down pit road with everyone, so I'm not sure that he's going to get his lap back here. He did. Charlie Hines in the comments saying, "Go Everett, never mind. Guess he's out." Yeah, unfortunately, Everett caught in the early caution here tonight that unfortunately took him out of the race early, along with Ira Kohlhaas, Brian Gibbons, and Mitchell Wilson.
You just saw Frank Marchese get his lap back as Grayson Brigham actually pitted as the Lucky Dog candidate, so that's going to give Frank Marchese his lap back. And we are back green flag racing here. Jamie Horn with a really good jump out front.
That was a really big restart there for Jamie Horn. I think Jamie needed that for his confidence. Like we talked about, you know, kind of that whole like almost like 20 lap run there during a big green flag run that before the last stage caution, where you just saw a between Jamie, between Ty, Joe Tardif, and Brandon Lopez.
Jamie Horn up in the wall there. It's going to slow him down a whole lot.
And it looks like he caught the wall pretty good. I've actually seen him catch the wall a couple of times here. That is going to, like you said, that is going to woe him up a lot here. That's going to allow Ty Robertson to take the race lead here, followed by Joe Tardif. And now you're going to have Brandon Lopez sitting in the 5th position. Jamie Horn now going to be back there battling with Grayson Brigham right now. That is not for position. Grayson Brigham currently a lap down, sitting in 7th place. Jamie Horn would technically be in 4th here. We have Brandon Trush and Frank Marchese behind him. Those are the next position cars.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm Jamie Horn, I'm not too worried. We saw what he could do, especially at the end of the stage, where he's able to drive that thing all the way back to the front. Joe Tardif staying out just a little bit longer, allowing those guys to get around, try to do a fuel strategy, but Jamie Horn was already catching up way too fast and able to take the lead to win stage 2. But again, just do what got you to the front. I believe Dagan Barnes is going down pit road again.
Yeah, I believe Dagan did just bring it down pit road. And the other thing is, oh, so he took it a little bit too far to the high side right there. I was going to say, even still a lap down, Grayson Brigham has a rocket ship. He took it around Brandon Lopez, made it look easy on the low side. But I think he took it up a little bit too high on his exit, and that allowed both Jamie Horn and Brandon Lopez to get back around right there. I mean, talk about how much clean air must be a benefit here at Chicagoland tonight, because you got those two guys out front, and again, just a war right now between Ty Robertson and Joe Tardif. Some of the faster cars here tonight, but they have taken off like rocket ships. Brandon Lopez about 1.6 seconds behind right now. And then you have Jamie Horn sitting right there in front of Grayson Brigham right now, and then Frank Marchese and Brandon Trush both right there as well, making up the other lead lap positions. Grayson Brigham currently a lap down, and then Greg McConey going to be 9 laps down. Right now in 8th place. They are all going to get around Dagan Barnes, who is down on pit road right now in 9th place, 10 laps down, which might actually get that 9th place position to Thomas McLaughlin, and it will on this lap.
See Jamie Horn getting around Brandon Lopez on the high side there. Able to keep working his way back through some traffic. The good thing about leading this race too is you also got clean air, but yeah, you can also almost control the line that you're going to run. The guy behind you is going to run too, so you don't want to show which line you're going to take too early if you're going to go high or go low.
Yep.
So you kind of stay in one spot to the last second, and as Joe Tardif's doing the same thing, you want to stay and not show your hand too early and then find your line quickly without turning the wheel too much.
How hard do you think that Ty Robertson and Joe Tardif are thinking about what they're doing better right now?
How hard are they thinking about what?
How hard do you think that Ty Robertson and Joe Tardif are thinking about what they're doing out front right now?
If I'm Ty Robertson, I'm not thinking about it hardly at all. As the leader, this is your race. You control the pace. You hit your lines and your marks. But Joe Tardif's probably definitely putting a little bit more thought into it, trying not to get caught up by the air behind him. He doesn't want that car to get too tight up there. Also wants to find the fastest line that's going to be safe on the tires, but also get him a little bit closer to that bumper so he can set up a pass. So a little bit more thought goes into second, third place here, but first place, you're just easy driving here. You control the pace for now.
And again, it's just so much fun to watch these races and kind of know all these guys' journeys and, you know, kind of how they got here and how it progresses through the race. I mean, how cool, like Frank Marchese involved in that earlier caution, battling back from laps down. He's back and forth right now. He's not only gotten around Brandon Lopez, but he's now gotten around Brandon Trush as well. He's in fourth place. Jamie Horn, we know how fast he can be. We saw him rocket shipping around people earlier and had a great restart here after that second stage, but hit the wall and now is trying to battle his way back. And then Ty Robertson, currently leading the race. We know how fast he is. He's one of those guys that's out there. He's competing right now, trying to get himself into the Coke Series. Really, really talented driver. And then Joe Tardif, man, I don't know what he was doing when he wasn't racing over here in the Knapp Daddy Cup Series, but I mean, how impressed are you with his performance here tonight? I mean, that dude has been just a rocket ship, driving so smart, really good strategy all the way through. I mean, I don't really have a lot of notes for the race that Joe Tardif's running here tonight.
No, he's done everything right. Hit all the marks he's supposed to hit throughout this run. And that's Frank Marchese spinning around in the back. That is going to throw a caution out on the track here.
Good Lord. Tell me that did not look almost identical to what happened to Mitchell Wilson earlier.
Yeah, it looks almost the same. What happened here is Marchese caught a little bit of that apron. You can use that apron a little bit, especially this track, some other tracks too, to help you get some rotation.
Pulling you back up.
Yeah, definitely get you some rotation in around that corner, but sometimes, like you see here, we're trying to zoom in a little bit closer to his car. He gets right below it.
What a job by him to lock him up, though.
Yeah, it hits that apron right there, gets a little loose, and it's hard to catch that thing coming out. The bad news is it's going to burn your tires up a whole lot from there.
Oh, yeah, those tires are crispy, but seeing some pit road strategy here as we see some guys come down on lap 112. Ty Robertson, Joe Tardif, Brandon Trush, Brandon Lopez, Frank Marchese, Grayson Brigham, Greg McConey, all down pit road. I believe the only person who stayed out is going to be Jamie Horn, who is going to get the race lead off of this. Looks like Thomas McLaughlin is going to stay out to get the wave around. But that is an interesting strategy out of Jamie Horn. And far be it from me to question Jamie Horn on his strategies. I've seen him win so many races off of having strategy that I didn't even think about. But if I'm sorry, I was listening to the driver chatter. If I'm these drivers, I feel like I'm pitting here.
Yeah, but then again, I'm not going to question his strategy. In the meantime, I'm going to flash you back to that first that happened a little bit earlier here with Mitchell Wilson. This is what got some of our drivers out of the race. And Ira Kohlhaas, Mitchell Wilson, Brian Gibbons, Everett Larson, all involved in that accident there. Zach Baker is going to be a starting park for the night. So far tonight, 4 cautions, 2 of those being stage cautions. This caution that we're under now is only our second caution due to an accident on the track.
Like we're going to be gridding them back up here. I think it's going to be, I don't think we're bringing them down this time, or I don't think the pace car's coming down this time. I lied. Yes, it is. We are getting back to green flag racing here. Lap 115 of 165 here at Chicagoland. Jamie Horn with a big restart right here. He's going to have Brandon Trush, Brandon Lopez, Ty Robertson, and Joe Tardif all right behind him trying to make their move. Frank Marchese back on the lead lap. And then an update for those at home as well. I believe Grayson Brigham in that number 55 car had been having a really strong night. Had only just gone a lap down. I believe he has brought it down pit road and called it a night. So that is going to leave him currently 3 laps down in the 7th position, but with Greg McConey and Thomas McLaughlin both still on the track, they are going to be able to get up there and take over that position and move themselves further up in the standings. Again, looking out front, I mean, you got Jamie Horn out front right now. You're going to have Brandon Trush right behind him. Brandon Lopez sitting in 3rd right now, but Ty Robertson, Joe Tardif all trying to challenge. Joe Tardif, Ty Robertson both sticking a little bit more to the higher side right here. It's like Jamie Horn's kind of riding up along the high side as well. But look at Brandon Trush down there making the low side stick as well right now, able to move himself up solidly in the second, trying to stick to that bumper of Jamie Horn. Brandon Trush getting a really, really good entry right now, kind of gaining time on the entry, losing it maybe just a little bit on the exit, but he's got Ty Robertson and Joe Tardif there to back him up. Brandon Lopez right there as well.
Brandon's been kind of hanging back all night. We saw him do the same thing last week, then make up a run there towards the front near the end. But I like that. That resonates with my soul a little bit.
I'm going to be very, very curious to see how this all plays out towards the end of the race, because I know we've talked about it before. I've spotted enough races for you where you and I are bickering back and forth about whether, when it's time to go. I know we talk about that all the time. When's go time? You're trying to lay back, save a little bit of tire, and then when's it time to go? And I know we've had races where we sent it too early, burnt them up. We sent it too late, didn't have a chance, and then we're sitting there being the driver that you were talking about earlier on. That's your pet peeve, where it's like, if I had 2 more laps, it's like, well, you didn't.
Yeah, if
look at
anybody
the different
out there
lanes
is,
that everyone is taking up front.
if anybody out there is a fan of the TV show The Office, it's one of my favorite lines. A quote that I actually live by from Dwight Schrute, where he says, "Everything's not a lesson, Ryan. Sometimes you just fail." And like, I think they're trying to make a joke, but I'm like, that's kind of true though. Like, not everything's a lesson. Sometimes you just try and you fail, and gotta get better from there.
I believe in that firmly, where like, can some mistakes be lessons? Absolutely. And should you take them as such? Yes, absolutely. If you don't take the mistakes that you can learn from and make them a lesson, then that's just stupid pride. But also sometimes you just screw up and you knew better from the beginning and it was just a screw up. I think that's been one of the things that like I've had to teach myself even throughout my like actual career, where it's like I'm always trying to overthink things, and I'm always trying to be like, oh, well, I could have done this better, or well, I could have done this better, or whatever. And then sometimes I was doing exactly what I meant to do, and I just did it wrong. And that's okay too, but stop trying to give yourself stress or pressure over something that was just goof. We're all just goofing. New boot goofing.
New boot goofing. Out here really goofing. Brandon Trush making a run.
Look at Brandon Trush ripping that low side, man.
And I think now that you got this whole race behind you so far, you can kind of start strategizing, hey, maybe if I get out front, get some clean air, I can hold off the people behind me. And we've seen how well it's been doing tonight for these leaders. But you got to make that pass first, and that's the hardest part, I believe. Speaking
100%.
of the hardest part, what about Michael Jordan the other day? I know I texted you about it, but I don't know if I caught that. Tyler Reddick winning his 3rd straight win to start off the season for NASCAR Cup Series, which is a historical moment. Nobody's
First time in the history of NASCAR.
Yeah, and then Michael Jordan posted an interview talking about he had a lot of pressure on him today, and the 3rd one's always the hardest one to win. The 3rd one in a row is the hardest. That was tough. From Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Imagine your boss telling you that, knowing that he's three-peat twice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I say, and this is coming from. I mean, I don't know your opinion on Tyler Reddick. I'm pretty neutral. I don't have anything against the guy. He's also not who I pull for on a week-to-week basis, but I'm also a fan of greatness, and that's exactly what Tyler Reddick's shown this year so far. To go from 2 standard ovals to a road course, beating out everybody at both tracks, including at the road course, beating Shane Van Gisbergen, who was 5 for 5, I believe, on the last 5 road course tracks.
Yeah, I think it just kind of embodies the whole Michael Jordan thing. Whatever you have to say about Michael Jordan, whatever, you can. I was gonna say you can fight me on it. You can yell at me in the comments about it. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. I'm a UNC fan. I remember in elementary school we used to read Salt in His Shoes, where his mom put salt in his shoes to help him grow taller. I'm a big Jordan guy.
I'm a big Jordan guy.
Love that Jordan's got a race team, that he's competitive and like showing that Jordan greatness also through racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a good team too. I mean, like you said, obviously Tyler Reddick is just what a season he's having so far, just really showing up in a huge way. But I mean, the like team camaraderie they have too. I mean, so often in NASCAR you see like kind of that jealousy or wanting to be the next big man on campus or whatever. And I saw so many interviews after that last race where Tyler got his 3-peat, and Bubba's just being super supportive and like joking with him and like having a good time. I think Jordan's got a really good thing over there right now, and starting off the season with 3 wins, that's going to be pretty tough for anybody to compete with.
Yeah, speaking of Bubba Wallace, I mean, having a pretty good year too. I really don't know where he placed that on the road course, but I know in Atlanta he was kind of tearing it up. So that Jordan 23 XI team, and you also have Denny Hamlin in your back pocket. It's not a bad squad to roll with there.
And that'll be where I make my first controversial comment, because I'm actually kind of talking crap about my fellow Virginian here, because Denny is from about an hour and a half from where I was born. Not a Denny Hamlin fan.
Me neither, but he is a good race car driver.
He is a good race car driver, and golly, the man's been through a horrible year so far.
Here we go.
And here's some racing updates for you. Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush both having to bring it down pit road here on lap 30 of 165. And we saw all those other guys pit after that last caution where Frank Marchese had to lock it up. I don't really think that those guys who pitted can make it. I think they can make it longer, but I don't think they can make it to lap 165. We still got, 34 laps to go?
Yeah, about 39 to go here. That's
39.
not correct. I'm sorry.
No,
34 to go
it's
here.
not.
Trying to see what the strategy is going to be for from the backside, especially from Frank Marchese, Brandon Lopez there. I thought Marchese might decide to bring it in a little bit early too to try to short pit keeps it out just a little bit longer, though. You see him squeezing Brandon Lopez up the track. Again, big fan of that move. It's not dirty. Just use every advantage you can possibly grab onto.
Called racecraft, baby.
Yep. We love it here. We encourage some good, clean racing. You don't have to hit somebody to get around them, but you can make them uncomfortable.
100%. I think that tonight's been a really good example of that. Is Frank Marchese. There he goes, bringing it down pit road. That is going to leave Ty Robertson out front right now. And that number 88 machine with Joe Tardif right on his heels in the number 48 car. Brandon Lopez also keeping it out for the time being. He's going to be sitting in third. Frank Marchese brought it down pit road. Getting 4 tires on that machine right now. Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush both a lap down from pitting about 2 laps ago, trying to run down the leaders now. I mean, both of them are putting down really, really fast laps right now. I mean, comparing where they're at to our race leaders. Ty Robertson last lap a 30.76. Joe Tardif with a 30.84. Brandon Lopez with a 30.67. Frank Marchese now back on the track. Jamie Horn last lap 30.16. Brendan Trush last lap, 30.11. Heard a little radio chatter. Dagan Barnes was asking Jamie Horn where he wanted to go, high side or low side. Dagan was already on the high side. Jamie Horn fires it low and gets right underneath Dagan. Dagan goes, I'll take that as the low side. Jamie goes, yes, sir. And Dagan goes, all good, man. Go get him.
Yeah, Jamie's a very calm, cool guy over the radio for sure. Very humble. I think I shared the story last week, probably in our Thursday broadcast, but he was providing me tips on whenever you finish a race, how to check your tires after you do a burnout, just how much a tire wear after you do a burnout, what it will go down to, as if I win races. I think he just wins so many times that he has a plan for when he, he has a plan for when he burns it down. I can know how much it's going to burn down.
But out front right now, so as far as the cars that have already pitted here, your current standings is going to be Jamie Horn, then Brandon Trush, then Frank Marchese. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th. Your cars who have not pitted is going to be Ty Robertson, Joe Tardif, Brandon Lopez, who is 1, 2, 3 right now. As you see, Joe Tardif right now trying to get around Thomas McLaughlin. Brandon Lopez loose into the grass. Man, you hate to see that for Brandon. Had been having such a good night. Really, really been performing well, saving his tires so well all night long. I mean, that's going to cost him 4 or 5 seconds right there easily. And it's that same thing, dude, right after that start-finish line. Just that nose just is trying to run its way into the grass. We saw the same thing happen to Frank Marchese about 20 laps ago. We saw the same thing happen that brought that big caution early in the race with Mitchell Wilson. I mean, they look almost identical, every single one of them. You hate to see it, though, man. Out front, you are still going to have Ty Robertson, who has about 0.7 of a second of a lead over Joe Tardif right now. Brandon Lopez is able to get it recovered. Honestly, a great recovery out of Brandon Lopez to not lose even more time than he did. He went sliding completely off the track, went through the grass, and I think he lost about 5 seconds, which that seems pretty impressive in its own right.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Joe Tardif now bringing it down pit road. I was trying to see if I can look at this track map here to see exactly where each driver was on the track and how close a driver was to getting lapped. See Jamie Horn in that 98 machine. He's going to be coming right behind here, coming around turn 4 now.
Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush both kind of right there. Joe Tardif bringing it off of pit road already. That is going to leave Ty Robertson out front all by himself. He's going to have about 5 seconds of a lead on Brandon Lopez. And as you can see, Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush, who are both currently a lap down, are both relatively right behind Joe, or excuse me, not behind Joe Tardif, behind Brandon Lopez. So they are both about 6 seconds behind the race leader right now.
Yeah, you just saw Dane Barnes on your screen hit the wall there, got a meatball flag. He's going to bring it down pit road, and by meatball flag, he has to pit. It is a black flag with an orange circle on it. It'll pop up on your screen if you have to repair some damage. iRacing giving him that flag. He has to pit, bring it down, and get that damage repaired before he can go back out.
I just heard Dagan come on the radio complaining. He was just sounded like a little bit of frustration, where it's just like you saw Dagan really have some success here earlier on. I know Dagan's been working hard, trying to get better each and every week, and just had some. We were talking about it a second ago. You have some whoopsies, and unfortunately in racing, when you have some whoopsies, that can be a quicker end to your night than you would want. And now you find yourself, 22 laps down at this point for Dagan Barnes, and I know he is wanting better for himself and is trying to get better each and every week, but racing is very unforgiving. We talked about that earlier on tonight too with Mitchell Wilson. Mitchell Wilson came in tonight very, very fast, was looking for a big night, and all of a sudden nose starts to try to run away from you, and all of a sudden it's the end of your night, and not only the end of your night, but the end of the night for 5 other drivers. And that's racing, baby.
Trying to figure out when Ty Robertson's actually going to pit.
Something else to kind of make a note of here. Brandon Lopez, after almost wrecking, sliding completely through the grass, and recovering and being just under 6 seconds behind the race leader, is gaining time. He's gained a second in the last couple of laps.
Yeah,
but I think as I say that, I just heard over the radio Brandon Lopez is going to be bringing it down pit road here.
Yeah, him and his teammate both bringing it down pit road. So Jamie Horn is going to be coming out around. He's got to get all the way around the track and in front of these guys that are pitting. And I'm sure the guys up front are just going off a fuel strategy here. I cannot imagine it going any other way for them.
I brought it down too.
I thought Ty was bringing it down, but I think I was seeing a different car coming down. Or a different car beside him, sorry. Yeah. There he is.
He is bringing it down now. Lap 150. Ty Robertson bringing it down. His teammate Brandon Lopez just now bringing it off of pit road. And if I'm not mistaken, that is going to give Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush the lead.
Possibly. Still got Ty down pit road right now.
Got New Age Bandit, which is Dagan Barnes in the comments saying, "Welp, I'm done. The team owner was whispering sweet nothings in my ear and had me laughing so hard I lost where I was and I wrecked it."
And there goes Jamie Horn, Brandon Trush taking over P1 and P2.
They're both sitting behind Thomas McLaughlin right now, so you got a little battle of teams here. You got Brandon Trush and Jamie Horn up front as teammates. Thomas McLaughlin is teammates with Ty Robertson and Brandon Lopez, who are both now off of pit road. So now currently your standings, it would be Jamie Horn in first place, Brandon Trush in second, right there behind him by about a tenth. And you're going to have Ty Robertson currently sitting in third place, about 1.7 seconds back. Joe Tardif about 4.2 seconds back in fourth place. Frank Marchese, his teammate, right behind him, about maybe 2 tenths of a second. And then Brandon Lopez is going to be your last car on the lead lap, about 5.1 seconds back in sixth place. So, number one, this is going to be interesting because, first of all, look at Ty Robertson go. Second of all, John, I know we've talked about this before. I mean, I know you love being a teammate. You love racing with a team. And we talk about it all the time. I'm a teammate until the last lap or the good Lord comes back. And I was going to say that, referring to the battle between Brandon Trush and Jamie Horn, but Ty Robertson is trying to take that out of the equation.
And I'm trying to think about it myself too. Like, do I feel like I'm faster than both of these cars? Do I need to split them up like he's doing here with a crossover? Gets a little bit into the bumper of them. They're going to be 3 wide coming into this corner here. Jamie Horn's going to back out of it there. 11 laps to go. Ty Robertson, your new race leader. Brandon Trush right behind him.
Brandon Trush trying to send it low on Ty Robertson. We talked about it earlier on, and seemingly Joe Tardif proved us wrong all race long about being able to run that high side, being able to run the high side successfully. But Ty Robertson all the way up against that wall, really utilizing that high side for all it's worth right now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Jamie was trying to throw a block or it was just getting a little too tight coming out of that corner. It looked like it just kind of got tight on him. He might have been trying to throw a block there as well, but I know all three of those guys went up at the same time, so it's probably getting a little tight on them tires. I don't think anybody's taken tires recently. Since this is a longer race, the guys were gifted an extra set tonight. Don't know if they'll need them.
All right, so lap 157 of 165. We are setting up for a barn burner here at the end. Joe Tardif currently trying to run up to the bumper of Brandon Lopez so he can get himself into the fourth position. Frank Marchese sitting in sixth place right now. 1.2 seconds behind Joe Tardif right now for fifth place. And then Greg McConey and Thomas McLaughlin are seventh and eighth right now. Greg McConey able to get around Thomas McLaughlin to get that seventh position away from him. But Ty Robertson's built himself out a little bit of a lead here, about 0.6 of a second as we come into lap 158 here. Thomas McLaughlin currently 10 laps down, right there behind Ty Robertson as well. That is his teammate, though. Brandon Trush is going to be sitting exactly 0.83 seconds behind right now. Jamie Horn falling off the pace just a little bit, 2.8 seconds right now, sitting in third place. Now Brandon Lopez trying to run him down to get himself into the third position here as we get ever closer to the end of this race here at the Knapp Daddy Cup Series at Chicagoland for the wild card. Be sure you tune in next week. Next week is the start of the playoffs. Once again, all your favorite drivers coming out here for a really good race. Homestead, one of our favorite tracks to watch, a lot of these drivers' favorite tracks to be at. We are doing 135 laps at Homestead next week for the start of the playoffs. So be sure you tune in, like, subscribe, all that other good social media stuff to make sure you don't miss out on what is sure to be an absolute fantastic race next week, but right now we still have a fantastic race going on here at Chicagoland as Ty Robertson continues to build out that lead. Has 1.2 seconds over Brandon Trush now in second place. Has 3.5 seconds on Brandon Lopez right now. Brandon Lopez able to get around Jamie Horn. Joe Tardif trying to get around Jamie Horn right now to take the 4th position away. But is either Brandon Trush or Brandon Lopez going to have enough time to get up there and do anything about this lead of Ty Robertson? Here in the closing stages of this race, we saw Ty use a little bit of a later pit road strategy there compared to some of the other drivers, but I mean, he is, again, just sitting on that high side and letting it rip. And I have seen not a mistake one out of him, kind of like what we were seeing out of Joe Tardif all throughout the beginning stages of this race. We were thinking the high side was really going to rip tires to shreds. And Joe Tardif did a really good job of making us all look like idiots up here in the booth early on. And now Ty Robertson doing the same thing as he is sticking right to the wall here and continuing to build that lead out lap by lap. 1.6 seconds over Brandon Trush now and 3.5 seconds over Brandon Lopez. Joe Tardif able to get around Jamie Horn. That's going to give him the 4th position. Jamie Horn holding on to 5th by about a half a second over Frank Marchese right now. .7 seconds the lead now for Ty Robertson, continuing to build it out. Made a strategy play here late in the race, and it is seeming like it is paying off right now as he is going to take the white flag here at Chicagoland. Get another 0.2 on Brandon Trush. Brandon Lopez still 3.4 seconds back in 3rd place. Joe Tardif 5.4 seconds back in 4th. Jamie Horn trying to hang on to 5th place. Going to be side by side with Frank Marchese here in the closing stages. We were saying, was anyone going to be able to catch him? Was anyone going to be able to do anything? The answer is no. Your winner at Chicagoland, Ty Robertson, going to come home in 1st place. Strategy pays off. A win for Ty Robertson at Chicagoland. Brandon Trush coming home in 2nd place. Brandon Lopez going to get 3rd place here. Joe Tardif going to come home in 4th. Frank Marchese able to get around Jamie Horn at the dying stretches to get 5th place. Jamie Horn going to come home in 6th. Greg McConey going to get 7th. Thomas McLaughlin 8th. Dagan Barnes 9th. And Grayson Brigham is going to get 10th place here at Chicagoland. What a wild card race it has been. And the night is not over as Ty Robertson makes the strategy work for him. He's going to take that neon yellow Knapp Daddy machine to the checkered flag line and burn it down.
Little congratulations sandwich there for Ty Robertson and team. Is he out of gas? He's just in neutral.
I also did hear a couple of people saying someone's out of gas.
I think Thomas might try to help him spin around to get some burnouts going.
That's just like a celebration sandwich. I'm not really sure either way, but once again, congratulations to your top three: Ty Robertson, Brandon Trush, and Brandon Lopez on their top three. And then again, Coach Hardiff, what a run he had tonight. I don't really have a whole lot of notes on how he ran tonight. It was pretty flawless as far as I saw. Frank Marchese with a huge battle back. Same for Jamie Horn and Greg McDoney. All of those guys able to get inside the top 10. Same for Thomas McLaughlin, Dagan Barnes, able to battle through some adversity. Unfortunately, we saw a lot of really fast cars have to leave early due to that caution. But once again, that's racing if I've ever seen it. And congratulations to both Ty, Brandon, and Brandon for their top three finish tonight. Make sure you stay stuck around here because we will have your interviews coming up with your top three here in just a few seconds. Once again, thank you to everybody for joining in here with us tonight on Knapp Daddy Racing. We are going to Homestead next week for the official start of our playoffs, so be sure you tune in next week so you don't miss your favorite drivers as they officially start their battle for our cash prize at the end of the season. But we'll be coming up here with your interviews with Ty Robertson, Brandon Trush, and Brandon Lopez right after this.
Yeah.
And we are back. I do have your drivers up here ready for interviews. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the first one. Brandon Lopez finishing up third place here tonight. Brandon, you got a copy with us in the booth?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations on P3. It was a fantastic run. Had a lot of steam there at the beginning. Saw you fall back, trying a little bit of a strategy play there. Talk to us about your strategy as this race goes on.
Yeah, the first stage I want to be conservative and just see like how it feels to tire save, and it felt like it worked. I just couldn't get around Joe because he was much faster on the longer run with the high lane. But first stage I wanted to to save tires, see how the car feels, and the second stage I wanted to push as hard as possible, kind of find like balance for the last stage. But it all worked out. In the end, Ty, Thomas, and I were just talking in the call. We were trying to figure out strategies on the last stage, trying to figure out if we're going to take 2 tires or 4 tires. And eventually, we saw everyone start pitting, and we were like, okay, let's go ahead and take 2 tires to see, stay as long as possible first of all, and then take 2 tires. And that worked out to our advantage, because everyone started pitting early, and we figured that if we just throw them off, we'll be much faster in the longer run, which we were. So, but yeah, that's basically the strategy. It was a good team effort today for Last Row Motorsports.
Yeah, near the end of that first stint there, you saw you coming off the corner, or the first stint. The last stint, coming off the corner, had a little bit of trouble coming out of 2. You were one of 3 or 4 drivers that had some trouble coming out of there, at least at one point tonight. Talk to us about the exit of turn 2 here.
I mean, I felt like that was my fault in general, just being getting on the gas too early than I should. I was saving a little bit, and I was catching up with the leaders, and I initially was wanting to stay down low to save a little bit more, but I think I caught on someone's air or something like in the front, and I tried to maybe like slightly turn the car more because I got tight and I just overcorrected. So um, this is something that I've been struggling with lately with these cars on certain tracks. So um, something I have to get better at and adjust to. So, but overall, I mean, I felt pretty fine. Thought I was gonna be having issues early on with the dirty air, but overall, just felt fine for the most part. It's just that one time I just messed up. So, but something to work on for the next coming races. I know we at Homestead next week, so it's gonna be like a similar track. So, should be fun.
Absolutely, man. Going to Homestead next week, first round of the playoffs. Talk to us about Homestead and how do you feel about Homestead?
Uh, I mean, I felt pretty good last season in the championship round. I felt pretty fine. Now with that being said, I do believe that the competition is gonna be a lot tougher. So I'm gonna have to put in some practice and put in some work, seat time on it. But overall, I wouldn't say confident, but I feel like okay, maybe I should be decent in the track to be competitive in Homestead overall. So should be a lot of fun. A lot of the last season was a lot of fun to race everyone. So I can't wait for Homestead, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on P3 tonight. Before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I just want to thank God for the opportunity to race every single week with these guys. I want to thank my family for tuning in, my friends, the boys. Um, I want to thank my teammates last for Motorsports, Thomas, Ty, and Everett. Fortunate that Everett was part of the wreck. He had a fast car today, but pretty sure he's gonna do really well in the playoffs. But Ty and Thomas were collaborating and making up some team strategy. It was a good team effort all around. Um, and you guys for broadcasting and putting up the race every single week. I mean, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of learning experience, So I appreciate the work you guys put in every single week. And yeah, I just want to just be just thank everyone for all the sponsors that tag along throughout the season. Should be really fun the next few weeks still. So can't wait.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations again on P3, and looking forward to talking to you next week.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Too bad.
All right. Bye bye.
It's going to be Brandon Lopez finishing up in P3 tonight. Coming up next, I do have your second place finisher in Brandon Trush. So I pull him up here to the booth. You got a copy of this in the booth, Brandon?
Yep, I got you guys.
Congratulations on P2 tonight. We were kind of watching you throughout most of the night, at least in the back end too, just looking at your lap times. Hanging in the back near the first stint, but we saw you at the end faster than every car on the track. And then same thing near the end here, the last stint. Talk to us about your strategy here tonight.
Yeah, the strategy. I know I'm not really good here, so in the beginning, just hang out in the back, trying to save tires, stay out of trouble. Luckily, didn't get caught up in that wreck, so that helped me out a little bit. But I was real conservative in the first half. You got that the late stage break, so with this kind of car count, it's just try to get group back up, get on good tires, and then really start pushing it. And it worked out for me. On that last caution, we took two and then went back in for four. Um, I think it would have worked out, but we caught some lap traffic, and I had Lopez out in front of us there, which didn't help us too much on the tires and the time. We were trying to catch that group. We knew if we could, get up there, our chances were a lot better. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and then it worked out for me. Got second out of the deal after hanging around in the back all race.
Yeah, this is definitely a strategy track, and it's very hard to pass here. We saw a lot of people trying to go to the inside and just could not make their way around a driver on the high side. Tell us about the lines a little bit. We predicted that the high side would burn up quickly, but it seemed like it didn't as much as we thought.
Yeah, same on my end. I thought the Highline was going to eat the tires up. It usually does here, so I don't know if anything changed since the last time I've been here or that we've raced here. But yeah, I was just sticking to the low line until I had to go to the high line. Um, and then once I got up there later in the runs, I really wasn't getting the times I thought I was going to get out of it. Went back to the bottom, and I was actually running faster on the bottom. So, just kind of stayed there unless I had to go high, depending if we're defending or, what was going on out there. But tire wear wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be tonight.
Absolutely. We're heading to Homestead next week for the first round of the playoffs. I know you, I believe if I'm correct, you really like Homestead. I know you gave me a run there a few weeks ago in a different league at Homestead, but talk to us about Homestead, what you're looking to bring for these next 3 races of the playoffs.
Yeah, Homestead, I never was a big fan of, but as of late, I've started liking it, started figuring out the track a little bit more. So, honestly, I don't think my plan's going to change from here on out. I'm going to just kind of hang around and then try to make a late race run up towards the front. With the fuel and stuff that we run in this league, it's kind of strategy comes into play a lot. So try to fine tune that a little bit better so Ty don't come out on brand new tires right behind me and see what we can do out there.
Yes, sir. Well, before I let you go, any sponsor shout outs you want to give?
Clem Speed Shop, the Raptor Race team, you guys for the broadcast, for the paints always. Um, yeah, that's it. Oh, say hi to my mom out there.
Absolutely. Got to support the moms. Cannot leave the moms hanging. So we gave them a big shout out earlier tonight, too. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
congratulations again on P2 tonight. And I'm looking forward to talking to you next week.
Yep.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Y'all too.
It's going to be Brandon Trush finishing up in 2nd place tonight. And coming up next, I have your 1st place finisher in Ty Robertson. And I'm trying to count him up here. I believe that is going to be his 3rd win of the season as I drag him up here to the booth. Ty, you got a copy of those in the booth?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Congratulations, man, on 3 wins this season. I believe that's going to make you our regular season points winner. Heading into playoffs, able to carry a bunch of those playoff points over with you. So I think you'll start off with 10 extra bonus points in the playoffs. But going back to tonight's race, kind of a little bit of give and take there. Big battle with Joe Tardif earlier on in the race. Tell us about getting around this track and how hard passing was here.
It definitely is very difficult. The top line, it is impossible to get around on the bottom because you carry so much momentum. The only way you're getting around is if they make a mistake or if right at the start of the run they kill their tires. And I think they're on that last run. I actually did that fighting with Jamie and Brandon. The strategy with the 2 tires at the end is pretty much what won us the race because they had to take a set earlier and that put us in an advantage. So yeah, it was a great race. Brandon, my teammate, it could have been a battle between us 2 for the win, but he spun out there late, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely a lot of strategy that came into play here. Did you find yourself favoring the high side or the low side more tonight? We saw you try both lines at different stages of the race. Which one did you like better?
The top side was definitely faster. It kills your tires a little bit more, but it's a lot more fun to run the top than it is the bottom. Ripping the wall is a lot of fun to do on iRacing.
I can't agree more with you, man. But it was a really good run. You're heading off into the playoffs in a really good spot. Going to be starting in the 1st position in the playoffs with those bonus points. With 3 races here, Homestead, and I cannot remember the other 2. I believe it's going to be Charlotte and Phoenix. Tell us about these next 3 tracks and what you're looking to bring here.
Yeah, Homestead's a pretty good track for me. I think I may have won it at the end of last season, so hopefully we can repeat that. I know Jamie's pretty good there too. I don't know if he was in the battle last year or not, but hopefully we can come out on top above him. And Phoenix, I've won a race there in a couple other leagues, but I'm not crazy good there. The competition here is really good, so it's going to be hard to beat him there. And Charlotte, I'm also really good there in like any car, so hopefully that'll go really well for me.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations again on P1 tonight, winning this race, getting 3 wins as you tie with Jamie Horn for the most wins this season. Both of you guys have 3 wins, I believe. Yes, that is correct. But looking forward to talking to you more next week at Homestead. But before I let you go, any sponsor shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, I give a thanks to y'all guys for putting it on. Knapp Daddy Racing on the car. Amazing looking car. Give a shout out to my family, my beautiful girlfriend. And then also I'm going to be doing the round 4 of the Coke Series qualifiers tomorrow night. I'm not sure if it's linked on here somewhere or not, but I'll be live on my YouTube channel.
Absolutely, man. Be sure to check that out on his YouTube channel. But other than that, man, congratulations again on P1 tonight, and looking forward to talking to you next week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
going to be Ty Robertson finishing off in first place tonight, being your winner for Chicagoland in this wild card race. So we will have 14 drivers that are going to advance to the playoffs here as we go to Homestead next week. Also going to be a very good track. Past that, it's going to be Phoenix and then Charlotte to wrap this season up. Pretty good schedule coming up. Had a lot of drivers talking about how much they like these coming up tracks. So I think it's going to be a really good time.
I do too, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's been such a great season so far. So proud of all of our guys and how everyone's been performing. It's been such a fun season to watch, such a fun season to broadcast. And I'm just really looking forward to the playoffs and everything that's to come. I know we had a lot of different stuff going on in this race, from starting a little bit later due to all the SDK updates, and had that big wreck early on, but still appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and watching and sticking with us. And I mean, we really set some records this season in terms of viewership and people tuning in. And it just makes me so happy that these guys who are all so talented in all their own rights are able to get the shine that they deserve racing out here. And looking forward to bigger, better things even coming up with the next season, and looking forward to Homestead next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Make sure you check that out right here on the Knapp Daddy Racing channel on YouTube. That's going to be at 8:15 next week. Going to Homestead, going to be a blast. Cannot wait for that. I know a lot of these drivers are thinking the same thing, so excited to get out there and get this playoff started and see who's going to take home this cash prize that we have for these drivers at the end of this season. Also, if you want to join a league, make sure you reach out to us here on the YouTube channel. You can join our Discord or even reach out through our website at www.knappdaddyracing.com. Hit that contact form, send me an email, and we'll get you in the league. Got a Saturday series starting up pretty soon here with a rotating car schedule featuring the Gen 6 cars, the 87 Legend cars, and the Indy IR 18 cars. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then for next season, happy to announce that we are moving away from these next-gen cars for a season and going to the O'Reilly/Xfinity cars for a full season. And I know that got a lot of people excited in the league as well. So looking forward to some big things coming up here, as well as featuring my old, I guess not really hometown, but I lived there for about 3 or 4 years in St. Pete. That is coming to iRacing, the road course, and we're going to be heading out there too. So destined to be a lot of fun. Don't want to miss out on that. But other than that, that is going to be just about it for us here tonight. If you want to check out the standings, make sure to go to simracerhub.com, type in Knapp Daddy Racing League, and see where your current driver is at heading into the playoffs. But that is going to be it for us. So I guess for the last time tonight, I have been John.
And I've been Hunter.
We will see you guys next time.
Take care, everybody.
Daddy Racing League, where the competition is high and the theatrics are higher.
They bring it down the stretch one last time.
It's sputtering. He's shaking it.
It's sputtering. Brandon Lopez wins it at Charlotte in one of the greatest fuel strategies you will see.
It's close battles, tight racing, and non-stop action. Y'all ready?
Come to the home stretch for the final time. I think Ty Robertson's running out of gas. Ronald Breland's running out of gas. Ronald Breland going to be your winner of the very first race.
Get loud. Get ready.
It is going to be Hunter Simpson taking the race here at Austin. Right there on that checkered line. It is going to burn it down with a well-earned and deserved victory.
Let's go. It's the Knapp Daddy Racing League, only on the Knapp Daddy Racing channel.